All right, let's try a thought experiment. Imagine you're navigating a vast mountain range, but instead of having to find a path through it, you could just redraw the map, erase the mountains, draw in a superhighway, and get to your destination instantly. That sounds like science fiction, right? Well, that's the revolution we're diving into today in quantum physics. We're moving from just accepting how materials work to actively engineering them from the ground up. So let's get into it.
See, it all boils down to this one really cool question. In the world we see every day, for energy to get from point A to point B, it has to climb over any barrier in its way, just like a hiker has to trudge up and over every single mountain. But what if there was another way? What if you could just go through the mountain instead?
And this really shows you the difference, doesn't it? On the one hand, you have the classical path. It's slow, it's inefficient, because it's stuck following the landscape that's already there. But then you have the quantum path. It's direct, it's kind of bizarre, and it is unbelievably efficient. Because it doesn't just follow the math, it uses the weird rules of quantum mechanics to basically redraw it. All right, so let's properly introduce this new map. We are talking about a massive shift in thinking. We're moving away from a world where the properties of a material are just fixed, carved in stone. We're entering an era where the energy landscape itself is something we can design, we can program, and we can manipulate on the fly. This is what scientists call a quantum energy landscape, or QEL for short. Now, the most important phrase here is can be reshaped. Think about it. A normal energy landscape is like a mountain range made of solid granite. A QEL, though, that's more like a mountain range made of sand. We can go in and sculpt the perfect, most efficient pathway whenever we need to.
So, how on earth is any of this possible? Well, to get how we can reshape this landscape, you have to understand the completely different, totally counterintuitive roles that this quantum world plays by. And trust me, it gets pretty strange.
Okay, so there are 3 of these weird rules that make this all happen. First up is superposition. This means a quantum particle can basically explore every single possible path all at the same time to find the best one. It's like a GPS that checks every route in the universe instantly. Then you've got tunneling, where a particle can literally just pass through an energy barrier, kind of like a ghost walking through a wall. And finally, there's coherence, where the particle acts like a wave, creating interference that we can actually use to boost the chances it gets to where it's going.
But here is where it gets really weird. In our world, noise is a bad thing, right? It's static, it's interference, it's something you want to get rid of. Well, in the quantum world, it turns out that a little bit of noise can actually be your best friend. It can be an incredibly powerful tool. This is a wild phenomenon called environmental noise-assisted quantum transport. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but the idea is simple. In a real, messy quantum system, energy can sometimes get stuck in a little valley. But noise, just tiny vibrations from the environment, can act like a lubricant. It gently jiggles the landscape just enough to pop that energy free and get it moving again.
So the whole trick is that there's this Goldilocks zone for noise. If you have too little noise, the energy just gets trapped and sits there. If you have too much noise, the system basically freezes up. It's a weird effect where just interacting with it too much stops it from doing anything. But if you get the amount of noise just right, that's when you get this perfect, super efficient flow of energy.
Okay, so we've got these bizarre rules and these landscapes we can actually engineer. This is all fascinating theory, but what can we actually do with it? Let's take a look at how this new way of thinking is already creating some absolutely revolutionary real-world tech.
First up is something called the quantum battery. And this is a completely new way of thinking about energy storage. It uses these collective quantum effects to charge at speeds that just completely break the rules of classical physics.
The secret sauce behind the quantum battery is this idea called super extensive scaling. Now, with a normal battery, if you make it twice as big, you get twice the charging power. Makes sense. But with a quantum battery, because all of its little parts are linked together in this quantum way, the charging power can actually increase with the square of its size. The bigger it gets, the exponentially faster it charges.
This n-squared relationship, that is the whole game. This kind of exponential scaling is what scientists call a true quantum advantage. It allows for power densities that are just flat out impossible with regular chemistry. It completely changes the rules for storing energy. And get this is not just some theory on a blackboard. In a recent experiment, researchers used these perfectly shaped microwave pulses to steer the energy landscape and charge a tiny quantum battery. You want to know how long it took? 20 nanoseconds. That is
mind-bendingly fast. So this amazing ability to navigate these crazy complex landscapes isn't just for batteries. It's also kicking off a revolution in computing, in a field called quantum annealing. It's all about solving optimization problems that are just impossible for even our most powerful supercomputers. So how's it work? Well, a classical computer tries to solve these problems by kind of heating up a system to let it hop over energy barriers. The problem is, it often gets stuck in shallow valleys that aren't the real answer. But a quantum annealer, it plays by different rules. It uses tunneling to go straight through those barriers. This makes it amazing at finding the one true answer, the absolute lowest point, in these unbelievably complex landscapes with tall, skinny energy spikes that would trap a normal computer forever.
So we know what's possible when you can control these landscapes. But how do you actually build one? What's in the architect's toolkit for programming reality itself? Well, it turns out scientists have some seriously cool tools. First, there's something called floquet engineering, where you basically shake a material with powerful lasers to give it brand new properties that don't even exist in nature. Then there's inverse design, which totally flips the script. You tell an AI the result you want, and it works backward to invent the material for you. And finally, there's pulse level control, using these incredibly precise energy pulses as a steering wheel to guide a quantum system exactly where you want it to go.
Let's just zoom in on that inverse design for a second because it's amazing. Say you want to make a new molecule for a super efficient TV screen. You just define that goal for a genetic algorithm. It then creates and tweaks millions of virtual molecules. A neural network then blitzes through them, checking for the property you want. In one study, this process found over 10,000 brand new promising molecules that science had never even conceived of before.
And what's really exciting is that this isn't science fiction happening in 50 years. There is a mature, sophisticated software stack, a whole suite of tools that scientists are using to do this work right now. You've got Quitip for simulating that helpful noise, Qiskit Pulse for controlling the hardware, Penny Lane for smart optimization. It just shows you this field is moving at an absolutely incredible speed.
So, what does this all mean when you put it together? It means we're at the very beginning of a brand new era. The fundamental properties of matter, things we used to think were fixed and unchangeable, are becoming malleable. We are right on the cusp of being able to literally program our physical world. You know, there's a quote from the research that just nails this idea perfectly. It says, "We are moving beyond the passive acceptance of material properties to a regime where these properties are dynamically engineered variables." We're not just taking what nature gives us anymore. We're getting a seat at the design table.
And that brings us to the really big idea here. We are creating what you could call software-defined energy materials. I mean, just imagine a solar cell where you could reconfigure its energy landscape in real time. You could have it perfectly match the changing angle of the sun, staying at peak efficiency all day long. That's the kind of future we're starting to build.
Which leaves us with one last big question. This kind of technology gives us a level of control over the physical world that is just unprecedented. So if we can now redesign the very map of energy itself, what are the most important things we should choose to build first? That's something for all of us to think about. Thanks for joining me on this one.